to episode 3 of From the Gun podcast. My name is Zach Canaliche. As always, across from me is Noah Saul, and we are excited to get another episode in the books. Noah, how are you doing today?
Doing well, sir. Let's get started.
Awesome. Well, we had some pretty big news drop yesterday. I feel like we are recording at great times because news just drops as we are getting ready to record. Carsen Wentz is a Colt. The deal dropped yesterday. Carsen Wentz heading to the Colts for a third-round pick this year and a conditional 2022 second-round pick, which can turn into a first-round pick if Wentz plays 75% of the snaps in 2021 for the Colts, or he plays 70% of the snaps and the Colts make the playoffs. Initial thoughts, Noah, from this deal?
Well, Carsen got what he wanted. He had made it very clear that he wanted to be with Frank Reich. He wanted to be in Indianapolis, and surprisingly enough, he got what he wanted. I don't think his play on the field this past season was justifiable in terms of listening to what he wants. But I think that this is a case of this was the best offer the Eagles were going to get. They wanted Matthew Stafford type returns. They were never going to get Matthew Stafford type returns, especially not with the contract Wentz is on and just how poorly he's played recently. I think Indy is the best possible scenario for him. I think that if he's going to rehabilitate himself, it'll be with the Colts. But yeah, Philly got screwed. The biggest dead cap hit in history. Man, I don't know. He got what he wanted, and good for him, I guess.
I think what works for Philly is you get, I don't want to call Carsen Wentz a cancer, but it feels like a cancer out of the locker room because clearly there was tension. You know, news dropped yesterday that him and Doug Peterson didn't talk for 8 to 10 weeks of the season, which just isn't good for your team. You need a clear pecking order, and you need communication probably between the most important player and the head coach of the team. So I think what works for Philly is it's simply good to clear the room. You set the tone early in this new era. And, you know, if you look at Carson's numbers back when Frank Reich was the OC, there are 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions in 2017 before that injury. If anyone's going to fix him, it's Frank Reich.
Yeah, I agree. And I do foresee Wentz being better this year in Indy than he was with Philly. I think going behind that O-line is going to be huge for him because we saw what happened when Philadelphia went from an elite offensive line to a good to average offensive line. Wentz tried way too much to play hero ball. He stood in the pocket too long, scrambled around, and led the league in sacks. So I think that Indy and the stability they have in their O-line, the solid run game that they have with Jonathan Taylor emerging, I think it is a place where Wentz can go and find success.
Yeah, and it gives them some weapons. You know, there's no DeAndre Hopkins there, but there's good receivers. T.Y. Hilton's a free agent, but I'd imagine he returns there. Michael Pittman's a good option. We've seen tons of receivers go through that system like Zach Pascal, Marvin Johnson. The tight end room is filled with Doyle, Burton, and Mo Alley Cox. I mean, he's not going to have a true number one guy, but he will have the options to spread the ball out, which is perfect for him, I think. Looking overall at the trade, I guess our early winner for the deal, you go with the Colts.
Yeah, I think that this trade benefits both teams. Obviously, Philly would have liked to get more back, but like you said, they get it does feel bad calling him a cancer, but they get him out of the locker room where a lot of the players really were not vibing with him. They weren't getting along. Obviously, him and Peterson weren't getting along, and they seem to rally more around Jalen Hurts. And for Indianapolis, they got a quarterback that's not Jacoby Brissett. And this is someone who could turn it around. He definitely could look like pre-injury Wentz if Frank Reich can get him to just relax, trust his teammates, and rebuild that confidence that's just been shattered.
Mm-hmm. You know, actually, to look at Carsen Wentz overall, this is a stat from StatHead. In 2019, Carsen Wentz became the first player in Eagles history to pass for 4,000 yards in a single season. So he had a good year in 2014 or 2019, but he also was the first quarterback to ever throw 4,000 yards with no receiver, eclipsing 500 receiving yards, which is very impressive. It was an awful 2020. Carsen Wentz obviously moving on though, and it's probably for the best for both teams. It will be interesting to see how this plays out. We have a jam-packed show here today. We've got, as we just went over, Carsen Wentz. We also have a little Dallas news. I'm going to talk right now about how Jerry Jones is the number one reason that Dallas is where they are today, which is not a good spot ever. Then we're going to have a little segment we're starting called Fix Up. We're going to take a look at an NFL team. We're going to take 5 steps to fix that team and make it a beautiful home. And then finally, back to the mock drafts, picks 11 through 20. So, Noah, I know I talked earlier this week about this. I've said for a while now, the Cowboys make me numb. I don't care what they do. I'm not getting excited until I see results. But something bursted in me earlier this week, and I ended up looking really deep into the last 5 years of Dallas. And like I said, the question I'm going to put out there to you is Jerry Jones the biggest reason for Dallas not being successful? And I'm going to list my reasons. So we're going to start in 2016. Dallas is on the clock at number 4. Zeke Elliott or Jalen Ramsey are clearly the pick. We all know it. And Dallas takes Ezekiel Elliott. Now, there's nothing wrong with Zeke. I love Zeke. I own a jersey of Zeke. I think he's a great player. But I do not believe in a running back at 4th overall. And Jerry's reasoning for this draft pick didn't have to do with higher grades. We don't know who he graded higher. The reasoning was he could guarantee that Zeke touched the ball 25 times a game, where he couldn't do that with Jalen. And that frustrated me to high hell, because that doesn't make any sense. Yes, Zeke will touch the ball 25 times a game. Great. I could touch the ball 25 times a game. Doesn't mean I'm going to do a good job with it always. Jalen Ramsey showed a true such a high ceiling in the NFL. I mean, really, it was known he was going to come in and be one of the top corners in the NFL almost immediately. And he is that right now. I mean, if we look now in 2020, he's top 3, top 5 at worst. I'd say top 3. And so I look back at 2016, and they should have taken Jalen Ramsey, and you deal with the running back later. Not only does Jerry screw up the first round, but he screws up the second round with Jalen Smith. I love Jalen Smith. I think he's a good player, but he's not today's linebacker. He's too big and he's too slow. I would have went Miles Jack. Miles Jack is not a great player. He's a good player, but he's fast. He's small. He fits today's NFL better. And I'm not going off this whole theory with looking back and saying, oh, we should have done this. No. These are picks I thought in the moment were the right pick. So I start with Jerry there. Then we get to the next year. Oh, it just gets better with Jerry always, because Dallas then goes and selects Taco Charlton, which, shout out to you, Noah, Michigan,
Go blue,
man.
Baby.
Yeah, great college player. But when there's a man named TJ Watt still available, you kind of get frustrated. And in the moment, I wanted TJ, and they took Taco. And the reasoning was because Taco could put his hand down in the ground every play, and TJ couldn't. God forbid we have something versatile. Oh, no. What does this turn into? Well, TJ Watt just got snubbed from a defensive player of the year, and Taco got cut a couple of years ago and plays for the Kansas City Chiefs, where he actually has success now. Very nicely done, Jerry. Then we go to the extensions, and this one drives me nuts because we're in the middle of the Dak saga. Dak should have got paid when Wentz and Jared Goff got paid $30-ish million a year. What does Jerry do? He pays the running back. Pays the running back, because that's what we should do. Not the guy throwing the football. No. The one running the football. What else does he do? He extends Jalen Smith. What's so bad about that? Oh, you let Byron Jones walk in free agency. top 10 corner. Why would we need a top 10 corner when we have a linebacker who's not fast? Why would we need that? It has built up so much frustration looking at Jerry's moves. He drafted Tristan Hill over Juan Thornhill, Nasir Adderley, and Taylor Rapp. All good safeties in the NFL today. Drafted Tristan Hill. And we all knew it was going to happen before because it was a Rod Marinelli guy. Tristan Hill tore his ACL this year, and he did nothing his rookie year so far. Juan Thornhill has started for a Super Bowl winning team. I mean, the picks have added up. The contract extensions have added up to the point where I am fully convinced that Jerry Jones is an awful GM outside of drafting and is the sole reason for this team losing, on top of not being able to fire his golden boy, Jason Garrett, for 10 years when he should have been fired after 3 straight 8 years. Noah, I think I've made enough points. Is Jerry Jones the main reason for Dallas being in the spot where they are today?
As an outsider, it's interesting to see where Cowboys fans land. You know, most fans, when their team struggles, there's a whole array of blame. Oh, it's the coach, it's the DC, it's the O-line, this, that, and the other. But all Cowboys fans say, nope, it's Jerry Jones. There's no division between them. All of them point to Jerry Jones. And I think that is all you really need to know about the situation. When an entire fan base can agree on anything, especially a core problem, that's all you need to know. That says what it says. Jerry Jones definitely is the sole, I wouldn't say sole, the primary major reason why the Cowboys are where they are today. Franchise tagging Dak Prescott at $38 million as he digs his heels in and says, no, I'm not going to sign that extension for 4 or 5 years. I want that financial flexibility. We could have gotten this done 2 years ago, but instead you decided
for $10 million less.
Yeah. Instead you decided to tag me. And like you said, draft picks can be hard because every team's going to miss on players. That's just part of the draft. But when you routinely miss and it's predictable who you're going to pick ahead of time, because you're so entrenched on a certain type of player and it's clearly not bringing you success, it's alarming to see that he gets to have this much power. He gets to make this many decisions about the franchise seemingly on his own. You know, Steven's there and he says, hey, Dad, you know, maybe we shouldn't do this. Maybe not. But at the end of the day, Jerry's going to get who Jerry wants to get. Jerry wants to feed Zeke. Jerry wants to draft big boys who stick their hand in the dirt. He doesn't care if Jeff Heath is playing safety. He doesn't care.
Don't go down the Jeff Heath path. I hate that path so much because all Jeff Heath can do literally in Dallas, and it's so frustrating that he went to the Raiders and actually did something, because all he did in Dallas was either A, hit the living shit out of you and made you die, or he just completely missed his zone and hit, and there would be a touchdown. It was the most frustrating thing to watch Jeff Heath to go pick off Patrick Mahomes twice because he doesn't have picks in Dallas.
Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry. I thought this was going to be a cleansing experience for you. I think I've made it worse.
It's that name. It's that Jeff Heath name. That Jeff Heath name gets to me every time.
Triggers your fight or flight.
Oh my God. He literally it was hit stick or absolutely swing and a miss, like Adam Dunn type strikeouts from the MLB. If anybody remembers him, it was Adam Dunn or home run with Jeff Heath. And then he goes and picks Patrick Mahomes off twice. And I'm sitting there like, where was that for years in Dallas? It always happened too. Go back to Brandon Carr, signed the big deal with Dallas. And this is why Jerry doesn't sign big free agents anymore. Thanks, Brandon. And Jason, everyone. Carr gets 1 interception in his Dallas career for 5 years. He went to the Ravens and he pulled off 3 or 4. And I'm like, why? Why can't you do that in Dallas? It has been awful. Jerry sets the culture. He sets an awful culture because he has slumber parties with his head coach before he hires them. And then he runs it like a family business. I've said it for years. Jerry runs this like a family business. Who's he love? He loves Jalen Smith. Is Jalen Smith's contract a good contract? Hell no. But what does Jerry go on local radio and say week 16 after freaking Jalen Smith has missed 10 tackles, gotten destroyed by running backs and all? It was a home run of a contract. Yes, Jerry, thank you for telling me it was a home run of a contract. You make me feel so much better about it. And then Zeke's not producing. Well, Zeke is our best overall player. I think Zach Martin, the all-pro lineman, probably has something to say about that. Maybe DeMarcus Lawrence, a top 10 edge in the league, has something to say about that. But no, Zeke is our best player while he can barely average 4 yards a carry. Yes, Jerry, run it like a family business and burn it to the ground. He's to blame. I hate him. I hate Jerry the GM. I'm fine with Jerry the owner. Jerry the GM needs to go. Jerry the GM would have been fired 22 years ago.
I'm sorry, buddy. I'm so sorry. Welcome to the land of the numb, where all the Detroit Lions fans live. Just come be numb with us forever.
I literally was texting my Eagle buddy yesterday, and I think he said we're going to suck for the next 25 years because of what's happening there. I was like, I mean, join the party. He's like, yeah, you've been doing it for a while. Like, I don't even care. I'm numb to it. Like, I genuinely am numb. I've never been numb to football. Like, I don't care who they could draft Trevor Lawrence at 10, and I'd be like, yeah, Jerry's going to find a way to screw this one up. Just give it time. He'll get through the first contract, and then we won't sign him again.
You've come so far from last year when you were crying with the CeeDee Lamb, and now you feel nothing.
There was literally so much hope when I saw CeeDee Lamb picked at 17. I still love CeeDee, but test me when the football season comes because maybe some feelings will come back. I don't know. Right now, I'm just numb. I don't care who they sign in free agency, honestly. You could put an all-pro team, just all pros at every position. I'd still be like, there's something that's going to go wrong. Like, I'm starting to believe Stephen A. Smith saying what can go wrong will go wrong in Dallas. Wow. It finds a way every year.
You've gotten to that point.
I do have beef with Stephen A. over that, though, because he says we're the worst fans, yet he worked in Philly and didn't notice his fans eating horse shit. But we're the worst. So, yeah, any Dallas fan out there, I've tweeted it. I've said it. Those are the reasonings. Jerry is the absolute worst GM and has been the reason Dallas cannot succeed for 25 years because he's an egomaniac who couldn't just let Jimmy Johnson handle it. No, he had to get involved and show that he could do it.
I'd like to take this moment to welcome all our new Dallas Cowboys listeners who Zach has brought in with promises of Jerry rants. Thanks for coming around. Hopefully you stick around and enjoy our non-Cowboys content as well.
Yeah, I hope you enjoy my torture from Jerry.
Oh,
I hate Jerry. That's all I got to say. All right, on to the fun. We're going to have fun because we love rebuilds. Both of us love rebuilds. So let's start our new segment, Fix Up. We're going to take this ugly house. We're going to make it a beautiful home, and we're going to sell it for over $100,000 more than we put into it.
Beautiful.
That's what we do here at Fix Up.
Sir.
So who are we fixing up today? It is the New York Jets because they need fixing majorly. So let's start. We got their depth chart here, nice and pretty. We've got their cap. For anyone watching the YouTube page, we have all this up. If you're listening, we'll say it all to you, what you need to know. We got free agents, and we got a mock draft coming to help them out. So step one on the Fix Up, Noah, is
keep Sam Darnold.
That's going to bring some shock to some Jet fans.
Yes, sir. Keep Sam Darnold. And honestly, it makes the most sense when you look at the flexibility it gives them. New York has the number 2 pick this year. Everyone knows or thinks that Zach Wilson's going to be the number 2 pick this year. But the Jets don't need to be the ones making that pick. Sam Darnold has shown that he is a capable NFL quarterback. Yeah, there are turnover problems, but you know what? It's still way too soon to give up on this guy. He has been surrounded by incompetence his entire career. If you've been coached by Adam Gase, it's a scientifically proven fact that you will be 1,000 times better when he leaves. Sam Darnold deserves a shot with a
Have you
real
have
coach
you
who
asked
has a
Peyton Manning
brain.
about that? I think Peyton Manning would say that Adam Gase is a great head coach. He was the reason he got the Jets job.
You know what? I think only the most transcendent people like Peyton Manning can rise above the incompetence of Adam Gase. Look at Ryan Tannehill. My man is thriving in Tennessee. Thriving. You want to know why? Because he escaped Adam Gase. So for step one is keep Sam Darnold. On to step two.
On to step two, which is get Sam some targets. And so we have a scenario here, Noah, we've talked about. If we go take a look at the roster first, we've got Jamison Crowder, Denzel Mims, and Brashad Perryman. Sadly, Perryman is a free agent. So sad, too bad. Jamison Crowder is a prime cut candidate. If we take a look here, the dead money before the pre-June cut would be 10 million savings, and you only hit a dead cap of 1 million. That's pretty big when you look at this free agent class coming up. We took a look at the free agents. These are the free agent wide receivers. We've got Allen Robinson, who's listed at, I believe, 17 million. Nope, he's getting 20 million a year. So he's going to get 20 million. We also have guys like Will Fuller, big target for Deshaun Watson, listed at basically 17 a year, as well as Juju Smith at 16 million a year. Here's the scenario I drew up. Noah, you're making the decision here. I'm good with either as your assistant GM for this decision. We can either A, go spend big money on Allen Robinson, keep Jamison Crowder in the slot, and let Denzel Mims be on the other side. Or we make the cut of Jamison Crowder. We save 10 million. We go get Will Fuller, get Juju Smith in the slot, and still allow Denzel Mims on the other side. Which wide receiver group would you like to run with?
It is interesting. You could go both ways. I love Allen Robinson. As a Lions fan, a lot of Lions fans say, "Oh, Kenny Galladay is so much better than Allen Robinson," and I'm like, put down whatever it is you're smoking, because Allen Robinson puts up Kenny G numbers every year with Mitch Trubisky, Blake Bortles, and Nick Foles at quarterback. Allen Robinson is a stud. I love Allen Robinson. Jamison Crowder is the king of PPR fantasy football because he will take that 1 yard slant 10 times a game and turn it into 50 yards and 10 receptions, and there's your 15 free points every single game. And I love Denzel Mims. You and I both love Denzel Mims coming out of Baylor last year. He's a freak. He's long, he's tall, he's fast. He turned up at Baylor. He struggled with some injuries last year with the Jets, and that franchise was completely incompetent from the get-go. Will Fuller, I like Will Fuller a lot. When he can stay on the field, he's a huge asset when he's not injured or doing drugs. It would be a miracle for him to get 16 full games in, but he has an incredible amount of talent. And Juju in the slot is where he belongs. He's a great slot receiver. Corvette. He is a good player, and he definitely deserves some of the hate that comes his way from his Pittsburgh days. He's definitely not going to be a Steeler next year. They have no money to sign him. And Denzel Mims, again, like we said, we love him. So I sit here and I think that the best thing for Sam and the best thing for the Jets would be to spread it out. I'd say cut Jamison Crowder, open up the room to bring in guys like Will Fuller and Juju. And then you've got Will Fuller on one side, Denzel on the other, and Juju in the slot. I think that's pretty solid. Chris Herndon is a solid tight end. He needs to rebound from last year. That gives them 4 good targets, and they can then invest in their offensive line with either draft capital or their remaining cap space.
Yep. I love the idea. I know Jet fans hate Chris Herndon. So Jet fans, we're gonna sympathize with you. I listen to New York radio. I hear you talk. No, let's get them a decent tight end. If Chris Herndon, if you believe he still has a shot, take a look at this list. Doesn't hurt to bring in a guy like Jarrett Cook. Maybe Tyler Kroft isn't a bad option. Trey Burton.
Yeah, he's not
I
terrible.
like Trey Burton. Just something to mix. If you believe that Chris Herndon still has capability of being something decent, bring in one of those guys maybe. So we'll go with Trey Burton. We're going to put his calorie sap hit. Let's say 3 million. We'll give him big money. 3 million,
Oh,
play
yeah.
it safe. Trey Burton at 3 million. We got 17 million at each wide receiver. We're cutting 9. Wow, we did very great. We're still a little over 30,000 in cap space. That's a good
30
start for
million,
us.
sir. 30
30
million.
million. Yeah, 30,000 wouldn't get us much. We'd get a maybe a McChicken and a Sprite.
That's New Orleans Saints cap numbers right there. Pittsburgh
No,
Steelers.
Saints don't have cap, period. So for step 3, move to the mock draft now on the Draft Network. For step 3 and 4 for the Jets potentially. Run a 3-round mock draft. Guys, if you have empty time and nothing to do and you love the draft, just play with this all day. It's so worth it.
Yes, sir.
So we're on the clock at number 2. No, we have a couple trade options here. What do you look at?
I think it's down to 2 teams. I think it's down to Atlanta and Carolina. Carolina's getting really aggressive for Deshaun Watson lately. And Atlanta, they want to secure their quarterback of the future for life after Matt Ryan. If we move down to 4, we can get whoever we want, most likely from the O-line. If we move down to 8, we're probably going to have to take whoever's left, which would likely be Rashawn Slater.
Okay, so let's go Falcons. We're going to give them our 2nd overall pick. What are we thinking here? 436.
Let's do 109 as well.
109 looks good.
And then maybe a day 2 pick next year and see what Atlanta says about that.
They don't mind the 2nd round pick next year.
Okay. I think that's a fair deal for both teams for them to move up 2 spots.
All right. Let's send it their way. They're evaluating. Hey,
right.
they've accepted.
Beautiful.
We're in business. All right. Oh, whoa. Hello? Dan Quinn? Please don't bite my kneecaps off. You want to make
Dan Campbell, sir.
Oh,
Dan
Quinn.
Campbell. You have Dan Quinn.
I do have Dan Quinn. The Lions are interested in this pick, Noah. We can go down to 7, add more assets.
I would say no. I don't think it's worth it.
I think we're comfortable at 4.
Yep.
Time out before we get into what we're doing. Yeah. For anyone listening, the mock draft machine gets a little weird sometimes.
Wow. You think, Atlanta's going to trade up number 2 for Zach Wilson, right? No, they took Kyle Pitts at number 2. They traded for Hayden Hurst last year. Let's bring another tight end in. Wow.
Let's send Matt Ryan on his way.
Sometimes things get a little spicy. Sometimes things get a little spicy on the Draft Network.
Vegas's odds on that pick would be probably plus 5,000. You could make a ton of money.
So much money. So much.
All right. So we're here at number 4. We've addressed wide receiver and free agency. We've even brought in another tight end. I'm feeling Penny Sewell. What do you think over there?
Yeah, it's intriguing because both of the other quarterbacks that come after Trevor Lawrence are still sitting there. And I know we said keep Sam Darnold, but Zach Wilson and Justin Fields at 4 makes you pause a little bit. But no, Penny Sewell is the pick here. They got Mekhi Becton on one side, or Mekhi Becton, however you pronounce it, and Penny Sewell. Wow, that is beautiful.
I think Sam can finally not see ghosts.
Correct.
Whoa. Ravens are calling. They want to move up 4 spots. They want to give us their 2nd and their 3rd, as well as their 4th for our 1st and our 2nd. Ooh.
I don't know how I feel about this because our 2nd round pick there, that's like basically a 1st round pick.
I don't like it. I say we tell them no. We also are picking 36, so I think we stay there and stack up.
No, we're gonna double dip, and then in the next 13 picks, we're gonna fix the New York Jets completely.
We're staying out of that. All right. So we figured out the offensive tackle. We've still got definitely a cornerback need, but at this point in the draft, JC Horn is gone. The other 2 are definitely gone. We don't love that.
Not ideal.
I know he's not the top ranked here. I kind of like Jalen Phillips a little bit. I like his athleticism. I like Xavier Collins, but they don't really need a linebacker. They
Let's
figured out the tackles.
throw it to their actual rankings, not their predictive board.
All right.
See what TDN thinks of. They're big on Xavier Collins, who's
Xavier
kind of a
Collins is
hybrid.
nice.
He's a kind of a hybrid. He could be a linebacker or edge rusher. And then
We're
there's
in-
a run of
we're-
3 edge rushers there who I'm a big fan of all 3 of those guys. Aziz,
I like them.
Joseph Asai, Jalen Phillips. Do we gamble and hope one of them slides to the start of the second round?
We got what, 2, 4, 6, about like 8 picks in between us and our next pick.
I think
Actually, 11 picks.
I think we could gamble. I don't think edge rusher is a huge need for a lot of these other teams.
Let me see who else.
Yeah, and then there's Rousseau too.
I like the gamble with Barrymore still there. I think I like the gamble. Eckenberg, Mac Jones still a bit. Yeah, I like the gamble of waiting.
So
I
say
like
we
the
just
gamble.
kind of go.
We should go BPA, take a guy like Xavier Collins.
Pair him with CJ Mosley.
Yeah, I think that would be big.
I think Robert Saleh would like that.
Okay, see, this is falling perfectly for us right now.
We're getting a phone call. We're being offered 45, a 5th, and a 7th for this pick.
No.
I think the board's too rich.
Yeah. So if we take a look at who was just taken, since our last pick, it looks like it fell pretty well for us here. Barmore did go to Tampa Bay.
That's
Jalen
okay.
Phillips went to Jacksonville, and Aziz went to Buffalo. But Joseph Asai and Gregory Rousseau are still on the board. We could go edge. We could go another linebacker in Jabril Cox, or we could address the 5th problem in New York, and that is bring in a bell cow running back.
See, that's where I want to go. For step 4, we put bell cow. Step 5, we have fixing the defense, which we're doing right now, actually, as well. I think.
And look who's sitting there. Look who's at the top
I
of
know.
the board.
I don't think we let him get to Miami. Miami still kind of needs a running back. I think
has Miami taken a running back yet in this mock? Have they taken like a Najee or a Travis Etienne?
They did take Etienne. Okay, so this kind of this changes.
We could let him slide.
What about Wyatt Davis from Ohio State? They need some inside linemen. They don't have great options.
Keep helping out Sam Darnold. Let's switch it back to the predictive board and see what TDN thinks if we can get away with letting guys go. So
still some good tackles.
Yeah.
What about an Alex Leatherwood? Alex Leatherwood is kick him into guard, big guard. I think it comes down to Asai or Leatherwood for me. You tell me what you're feeling now.
How do we feel about, I know we're doing 3 rounds. How do we feel about the depth of edge versus offensive tackle? What do you think there's going to be more of in round 3? Because we know who we're picking at 36.
I like some later picks like Roche and Basham for edges. Let me take a look at the O-line. James Hutt. Oh, these are tackles. But we also can kick some of these tackles in. Deontay Brown wouldn't be bad. If Creed Humphreys fell to us, that would be incredible. I don't know if he will, but I don't mind a Deontay Brown round 3, maybe a Josh Myers potentially. I think we have to go edge.
I agree. So which one? Osai or Rousseau?
Same body size basically as we take a look at the player profiles. I mean, Rousseau had some first round capability.
He is twitched up. He is an athletic freak. He's got explosiveness, and they really don't have any of that on their defensive line. That's just a lot of big dudes.
I think Rousseau is a good little combination for Quentin Williams. So we want to go. All right. Oh, more phone calls. 49. Yep, Denver. Sorry, we don't love these offers.
We know who we want here.
We're going to get you that bell cow, Sam. There's no more Frank Gore here. None of that. Nope. We're going Javonte Williams. Both of us love that guy coming out of UNC. The UNC backs this year are very nice looking.
Him and Michael Carter, those 2 guys are going to be studs at the next level.
Oh,
Oh, Pittsburgh
Ooh,
wants us to trade up, and we just got to give up a sixth rounder.
I say yes.
I feel like that's kind of a no-brainer. Pittsburgh wants us to come up. I mean,
S-
they're in a cap crisis. They're
They
trying
just
to
need
trade back.
bodies.
Yeah, I let's do it. That makes sense for both teams. Let's go up.
So for the audio listeners, the Steelers have offered the number 56 pick, which is a second round pick, for our third round 66 pick and our sixth round pick of 201. We are accepting that offer. We are back on the clock. We love this. I
Oh
I gotta
man,
I like this board a lot. I need to
there
check
are
with
some
Creed.
names here.
No Creed Humphreys. I don't know if I love the guards anymore at this spot.
Let's
I
take a
think
look
the
at the
guard
O tackles. Anyone we can kick inside?
not that I know of. I don't know if any of these guys can get the kick. They
I
got to
need
be
you to do one thing for me.
under
I need
6'4"
you
is the key.
to type in Quinn Miners because I need him in New York. Is he
He's a
a interior offensive lineman? Guard?
let's see. There's no Quinn coming up.
Man, they don't even have him. I don't even know if they have him in their database yet.
So here's the drafted players.
TD, the draft network. Hold on a minute.
Said Myers, right?
Quinn Miners, MEI, I believe. He's not an O tackle.
Is this our big boy with the
That's our big boy from the Senior Bowl, Mr. Crop Top, Wisconsin Whitewater. Wow, they don't even have him in their system.
okay.
That's
Draft.
brutal.
Okay, so we really can't go him here, I guess. That's sad.
painful because I would say he's a day two guy.
You know I have a personal favorite here in Richie Grant. You have Ashton Davis, but you're losing Marcus May potentially in free agency. If you lose him, I don't hate Richie Grant as a replacement.
No, Richie Grant showed out at the Senior Bowl. I think that would be good value there. It's hard to not look at our guy like Melifonwu sitting there, still on the board.
They still need a corner. I think corner's more of a need. Let's take a look at the corners potentially available. We have Melifonwu, Tyson Campbell, Sean Wade, Paulson, Adebo, and Elijah Molden are the top ones. I think there's a gap between Melifonwu and everyone else here. I think if we're picking a corner, it's got to be Melifonwu.
Yep, I would agree. Looking at this, Sean Wade comes off my board immediately. Not remotely interested in him after he got torched by every DB imaginable.
Yep.
Melifonwu, he definitely is intriguing. Our hype train king is still available as well.
Eskridge, but we fixed the wide receiver. Juju.
We did fix the wide receivers.
I got a feeling we'll be talking about it a lot. I feel like Richard Sherman to the Jets because of the Saleh connect. Is there anyone better for Richard Sherman to teach than Melifonwu?
6'2", 212. He's got great size for a corner. And he fits in his zone scheme, which Robert Saleh is going to bring. I feel like our questions have just been answered there.
What's the player comp? I just want to know that. That's not a player comp. Thank you for the player comp.
Hello, Weatherspoon, San Francisco 49ers.
I mean, not far off.
The writing's on the wall. I feel like Melifonwu would be a great addition here.
Wow.
New York, you're welcome. We have just crushed this draft for you.
Joe Douglas needs to call us. I think we are due. Oh, one more pick.
Yes, sir. We traded for this one.
86.
86.
So let's take a look at what we've done for the Jets so far. We fixed the wide receiver position in free agency. We kept Sam Darnold. We added Penei Sewell, third overall, to help keep Sam Darnold from seeing ghosts with Mekhi Becton and him on the sides. We added Xavier Collins, Gregory Rousseau, and Ifeatu Melifonwu to the defense, and we got him a bell cow and Javonte Williams. I feel like when we kind of need a guard, but I don't know if there's a guard that we're gonna love here. Yeah, I'm not loving that.
Mm-mm.
I'm not
No,
too fond.
Aaron Banks is the best player available. I don't think so.
We gotta avoid O-line for now. Maybe we gotta
Let's
sign
do-
a guard.
Let's do player rankings. Let's see Let's see what their BPA is. There's our other North Carolina back right at the top of the list.
Quincy Roche kind of intrigues me. Do we want to get a second edge? 6'3",
Double dip on the
243.
Miami edges.
Mm,
Roche and Rousseau.
if you like him enough, you can. You got a versatile safety here in Nazardine. I mean, they literally, if you go look at his comp and read about him, positionless. His versatility enables him to play in any scheme.
Wow.
So whoever wants to maximize him.
We've got your boy, Tyler Shelvin. Big dude central.
Big dude.
I love
central.
Tylen. I love Tylen Wallace. I absolutely love Tylen Wallace, but I don't.
It doesn't
Obviously,
fit
we made
here.
wide receiver off the table. So Nazrul Dean looks like positionless. That just intrigues me to no end. He's got the size to be a sub package linebacker, or he can go into the secondary. 6'3", 213.
If you believe Ashton Davis can play center field, I like Nazardine here.
It's intriguing to me because he's the type of guy you would lock onto a tight end, Nazrul Dean, and he could just shut them down for the entire game. And sitting in the AFC East, we've got Miami, who has Mike Gesicki, who we are both big fans of.
Love that guy.
The Bills have Dawson Knox. He's not bad. He's solid, especially in the red zone. You need someone to take him away. And everyone on the planet is tying Kyle Pitts to the Patriots at 15. Maybe
Need somebody to guard him.
Yeah, maybe a guy like Nazrul Dean can come in and really shore up that defense, and he can do whatever you need him to do, kind of like an Isaiah Simmons type player, just a little bit smaller.
All right, so let's get him. Bang. I think we're done. Do we have another? Nope, no more picks for us. So let's go through the recap right here for the Jets on this fix-up as we look at the beautiful home we have built here for you Jet fans. We have cut Jamison Crowder. Actually, let's start with Sam. We've kept Sam Darnold at quarterback. We cut Jamison Crowder. We brought in Will Fuller and Juju Smith to go with Denzel Mims. We brought in Trey Burton to help out Sam just a little bit. We come to the draft. We take Penei Sewell, Mekhi Becton blocking. Probably got to use a little money on a guard or two. Don't know, if you will. We help the defense out. We go get Xavier Collins at 23, Gregory Rousseau, Ifeati Meliwanfu, and Hassam Nazardine. All positions of need right there for the Jets. And then we get them the bell cow in Javonte Williams. Sam Darnold, if you can write me a handwritten letter saying thank you, I would greatly appreciate it because we knocked it out of the park, I think.
I agree. And we left them 30 million in cap space.
30 million cap space.
To go address the defense in any other way they wanted to. New York Jets, you're welcome. Joe Douglas. We'll wait for our paycheck in the mail.
We will. It's probably never coming. But
nope.
Hey, that is a great draft if you need to fix. And that right there is how we fix up the Jets. We'll see the final product, a beautiful home, maybe a Super Bowl ring someday.
So here's the important question. Are you Chip or are you Joanna?
I'll be Chip.
All right. I'm Joanna. I'll master the interior design then. That's fine. That's fine.
Beautiful. Oh, yeah, I get the ham. Oh, Chip's a good guy. I love
Demo
Chip.
day, sir. We just demo dayed their roster.
We did. Speaking of the draft, we stick right with it to finish out the show. We head over to our mock draft segment. We have picks 11 through 20 to get through today. We did have some trades happen. We will put up right now both of our mock drafts as you can take a look. Graphic there. We'll have all our picks. Both of us made separate trades, and we come up to number 11 for the New York Giants. And Noah, I'm going to let you kick it off because you had a big struggle at this pick.
I sat and stared at the New York Giants for Honestly, 15 minutes, because it seems like everyone wants to pencil in best wide receiver available or Kyle Pitts if he's still on the board. And I struggled with it because New York has quality wide receivers that are all under contract next year: Golden Tate, Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton. So a guy like Jalen Waddle could make sense, but I feel like they have bigger needs. And that's what I battled with. I think that their defense really does need to continue to develop, and that's why I ended up settling on Kwity Paye to help bring some versatility and some speed to their edge. At Michigan, he was a stud at getting to the quarterback, and he also is good in run support. I think he would make a good fit in New York and help shore up their defense.
Yeah, I actually ended up going Kwity Paye. I was going to go Devontae Smith, but after you brought up the point about the wide receivers, I thought they were free agents. And to my shocking avail, they are not free agents. None of them are free agents, and none of them are cut candidates because you're going to have more dead cap than you are with keeping or cutting them. So it wasn't worth the cut. I think Kwity Paye is a good fit in New York. They need an edge. They're going to lose one of their D tackles up front, probably going to be Dalvin Tomlinson. So Kwity Paye becomes a new friend for Leonard Williams as we slide over to number 12. Noah, this is where we're going to be really different because I took Rashawn Slater. Slater was still on my board coming into this pick, and I think the fit's great for San Francisco. If you don't love him at tackle, you swing him into guard and you get back to that heavy run offense, and he fits that perfectly next to Trent Williams. And if you believe he could be a tackle someday, then he's eventually Trent Williams' replacement.
Yeah, I'm kicking myself over some of the picks I made last week and just the way the board fell. Slater would have made a ton of sense there. And like you said, they need guard help. So I ended up settling with Elijah Vera Tucker, who honestly, he has quite the widespread draft range. He could go here to San Francisco, or he might not go until the end of the first round. He's a guy that could swing a huge array of picks, and that would affect his paycheck quite a bit, which I'm sure he's well aware of. But I'm going to have Elijah Vera Tucker, like you said, same reasons. They need to shore up that O-line, and he is a tweener. He could go outside at the next level if given time. So I think that he makes a lot of sense to San Francisco.
Beautiful. 13, we have the Los Angeles Chargers on the board. Go ahead and kick this one off, Noah.
So I have a sneaking suspicion you and I have the same pick here, and it's one of need, and it's a great player, and it's Christian Darrisaw, offensive tackle out of Virginia Tech. I think he'll make a lot of sense with the Chargers. He's been a hot name for them, and giving Justin Herbert all the time he can in the pocket to hit those big studs in Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, I think it's a win.
So we actually have a dilemma on my board. Devontae Smith is still available here at 13.
Oh my.
Do the Chargers shore up Justin Herbert some targets and go Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and Devontae Smith? No, because you need Justin Herbert to be standing up to throw the football, and that's why Christian Darrisaw is the pick.
Wow.
It's tough, but I think there's enough second and third round talent in the wide receiver class that you could find a slot guy, potentially maybe a Dwayne Eskridge type or Elijah Moore. If you get one of those, perfectly fine for the Chargers. You can't get a Christian Darrisaw in round 2 or 3.
No, and you and I have talked about it. It happens every year. We watch the board and someone slides down and it's like, what is going on? Why is this guy falling? It was Lamar Jackson a couple of years ago. It was Derwin James. It was last year. It was CeeDee Lamb to your Cowboys. It's every year someone slides and we're a little confused. And then it turns out to be a huge value pick. It almost always does. So I think I'm going to run into a similar situation as well coming up here.
Yeah, we got Minnesota on the board. I hate this pick so much because I feel like every other year they're drafting a first round lineman because they can't hit on the last one. And I feel like I'm just falling back into the pattern because I'm taking Samuel Cosmi from Texas. Good tackle. They need it. Reef is gone. He's garbage. It's as easy as that. Cosmi's a really good prospect, actually. Good size at 6'7", 300. It's just a deep class. I mean, I feel like this guy could have talked top 10 if it wasn't such a deep class, but due to the deep class, he's going to fall 14 to the Vikings.
Yeah, and we're in the same boat there.
I think Cosme is the pick as well. Like you said, feels like all they do is take offensive linemen in the first round or Justin Jefferson. And yeah, he is the Riley Reef replacement. He has versatility. He played 14 games at right tackle, I believe, and 21 at left. So he could go both ways, which is huge for them. And I think he makes a lot of sense for a Minnesota team that rapidly is developing more needs by the second.
Yeah. All right. We are here at 15. I think we both want to kick ourselves in the mouth
Yeah.
because we've given the Patriots an opportunity to draft. I believe your board has Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, and I hate giving Bill Belichick Kyle Pitts, but it's what I'm going to do. I don't know. The thing is, there's not a ton of fits for him, but at the same time, he doesn't need a fit. He'll be great wherever he goes. I think Carolina at 8 could seriously consider him. Even Philadelphia at 6 if they want to get wild. But then there's not a huge spot for him in between 8 and 15, which leads the Patriots to just kick back, relax, and Kyle Pitts is their guy. He's unbelievable. He's an absolute stud. He can line up inside out in the slot as a 6'6" tight end wide receiver. That he's the best tight end prospect to come out in a long time. He's terrifying.
He is terrifying. He's a good option. I don't know if I love Devontae Smith. Here's the problem. This is what I'm struggling with right now. I don't even love the teams behind. I don't see a trade-up candidate, to be honest, for Devontae Smith.
Yeah, the question is, if you don't love him here, then where do you love him?
I think the closest spot I love him is 18, maybe double dipping. Miami's going for 2 wide receivers in this draft. If they feel really good about Devontae Smith, they might steal him at 18. They need a wide receiver. You know he's not going to draft a quarterback.
Is he not going to draft a quarterback?
Dude, we tried this last year. I'm not getting on this again. I know he's not drafting a quarterback.
Mac Jones.
Not. Only a fool takes Mac Jones in the top 15 picks, and Bill Belichick is not a fool. I love Xavier Collins here, honestly. You know, he's getting Dante Hightower reviews. I love Jeremiah Owusu-Okwara or
JOK.
Dude.
His name is JOK.
Literally, that's what I have to call him. Micah Parsons. There are options for Bill Belichick. And if it's me, I'm going with Devontae Smith. But Bill Belichick is in the chair. I don't think he goes Devontae. I'm going to give him Xavier Collins at 15. It seems like a Bill Belichick pick. And I like
sexy.
the pick.
It's not sexy, but it gets the job done. Hey, Xavier's a good prospect.
Dude is a monster. He's a good linebacker. He can rush off the edge. They need a Kyle Van Noy guy back. Xavier Collins can maybe fill it. He's not a great pass coverage guy, but he gets the job done. Xavier Collins, 15. If you told me I was doing that earlier this morning, I would have laughed, but it feels like the Belichick pick.
Yeah, I agree. I think it does make sense. Belichick, sometimes I think he suffers from smartest man in the room syndrome and needs to prove to everyone that he is just 75 levels ahead of them.
Like three tight ends last year?
Oh my gosh. Dalton, what was it? It was Dalton Keene.
Asai.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Oh, yeah. Asiasi, Devin Asiasi from UCLA. I don't know what.
Took a kicker in the 5th round.
The man is so desperate for his next Rob Gronkowski, Aaron Hernandez duo. And that is kind of why I haven't taken Kyle Pitts. But on the 16, I feel like every mock draft on the planet has this one locked in, at least in terms of position, because Patrick Peterson, he's leaving. So that leaves Arizona with what? Byron Murphy at corner and pretty much nobody else, which is why I have them taking JC Horn from South Carolina.
I like it. I mean, you can't say it better. I took the same thing. It literally, you read any mock draft and it's JC Horn at 16.
Which is dangerous because when every mock agrees on a pick, it usually means that's not the pick.
But we'll fall into the trap.
We're followers, baby.
17 for the Raiders. Nelson Aguilar is a free agent. Does Devontae Smith go to the Raiders?
Blue blood program. You know how they feel about their Alabama Clemson guys. They
love their winners. They love their winners. I've seen a lot of JOK here. They need an edge. I don't think I love an edge in this spot just yet. I like them in the 20s. All right. The Raiders get the steal. Devontae Smith is a Raider. You put him with Henry Ruggs and Tyrell Williams. I think they're going to do all right out there.
Merry Christmas, Derek Carr.
Bye, Henry Renfro. I'm sorry.
Aw. Poor Hunter was just learning how to play in the slot with the big boys.
Maybe Devontae plays outside. Maybe they feel confident about Devontae Smith. It feels like a Raider pick. I have to pick in their shoes. I can't pick in mine. I wouldn't have gone Devontae Smith. But, Damian Arnett last year really shows they just like winners. So
winners for days. They Devontae Smith,
a Heisman? How could they pass on the Heisman?
Oh, that is a good pick. I like that pick a lot.
And for me, I still have Jalen Waddle on the board, and I tossed that one around in my head for a long time. Alabama wide receiver, like we said, everything we've said about Vegas, they want all the winners, but they do realize that their defense was atrocious last year. And they can go get a winner from a blue blood program as well, which is why I have them taking Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, JOK from Notre Dame. He is, I hesitate to say positionless, but he really
pretty
could
close.
Be. He really could be. He is a fantastic athlete. Notre Dame, they used him in a lot of special ways. I think that he's going to be a stud at the next level. And it's interesting because 2 months ago, Micah Parsons was far and away the linebacker one. He was a top 10 pick on lock. And now he's still on both of our boards. JOK is gone off of mine. And honestly, it doesn't feel wrong. JOK is a stud. And I think that any sort of elite defensive talent headed towards the Raiders, that's all they could ask for.
Yeah, I like JOK there. I think they can make him work in the positionless football position he's going to have to play in. It's tough to see where he'll play in the NFL sometimes, but if you put him in the right spot, he's going to be great. Yeah, Micah's just fallen, and it sucks to see it. Come up 18 here to the Miami Dolphins. I have them taking Jamar Chase 3rd overall. You don't have the Dolphins on the clock here, so I'm up for the Dolphins.
I do have the Dolphins on the clock.
Oh.
I do. Okay. I had them trade with Houston. I had them trade 335, and then next some future picks, and Tua and Xavier Howard. Okay. So they are on the clock for me as well. But take it away, sir.
I don't think they go running back. I know they need one. I don't love it. I think they need an offensive tackle. Do I love Jalen Mayfield here enough? He's got to play right tackle. He's not a left. There's too much talent for me to take him. They don't really need a linebacker. Jerome Baker does perfectly fine.
And Kyle Van Noy as well.
Van Noy got paid a ton of money. They got the receiver. It's hard to pass on the running back. You have them with Deshaun. That makes a lot of sense for you. I think, I'll go Elijah Vera Tucker here. I think they get an interior man. They need a little more help for Tua up front. Let me get Elijah Vera Tucker.
I like it. I like him. I like Vera Tucker a lot, as evidenced by the fact that I took him 12. So sitting here with Miami, I had them trade 3. They haven't made any picks yet. And here's where they get the steal of the draft. If they have Deshaun Watson and then they throw Jalen Waddle into the mix, and the Miami Dolphins are winning the AFC East. Sorry, Buffalo. The Miami Dolphins have now become the juggernaut that nobody can stop because Jalen Waddle is an absolute freak. And when we redo our mocks before draft season, before the actual draft, there's no way on this earth I'll have him falling this far because he is so good, so good. 4.27. He's an
Yep.
absolute freak of nature. And before he got hurt, he was the number one at Alabama. It wasn't Devontae Smith. It was the Jalen Waddle show. And then he got hurt, and Devontae got his time to shine. And credit to him, he took full advantage of it. But Jalen Waddle has the fit for today's NFL. He's got the speed, and he's got the hands. So congratulations, Miami. A+ already.
They killed drafts. They've done well the last couple of years. I love the pick. That could be the drop, though. I had Devontae Smith to 17. One of these wide receivers I feel like are going to drop because there's so much talent. Somebody's going to wait till the second or third round. Pick 19.
We both have
This is
Detroit.
the Lions. This is the Lions.
This is the Lions.
All right. So best player available. It's
Correct.
For me, it's JOK or Micah Parsons. Jarrett Davis needs to go. I'm going Micah Parsons. You need just get the Mike linebacker. Let him handle everything between the numbers. Micah Parsons, as long as his maturity keeps up, makes too much sense here for the Lions.
Yeah, and I'm right there with you. Micah Parsons is the pick. The Lions linebacking core outside of Jamie Collins is a crime. It's an atrocity. It's a joke. Jelani Tavai should never be a starting linebacker anywhere.
Neither should Jarrett Davis.
Jarrett Davis is a physical freak, but he can't diagnose a run versus a pass, which makes him an automatic liability. And then you go to guys like Christian Jones, Jalen Reeves-Maybin. No, thank you. I will take Micah Parsons. I will gamble on the character concerns. It's not anything super alarming, but that's why you bring in a guy like Dan Campbell. He's a player's coach. He's going to get alongside them and say, hey, get your head out. We're going to get you right. You're going to be a great player. I think Parsons makes too much sense here for him to slide any farther. And honestly, I love the pick for Detroit. As a Detroit fan, I couldn't let him go any farther.
Yeah, I think it's a great pick. And now we finish up at 20 with the Bears. Oh, I hate putting on the shoes of Ryan Pace because I don't like these shoes. We've got JOK here for me. Jalen Mayfield makes the most sense because they need a tackle. Their O-line was atrocious. But I got a GM that took Mitch Trubisky 3. And Mac Jones is there. And we know this league overvalues quarterbacks because they are the most important position, but also it's Mac Jones. If any team was to fall into the trap of the quarterback being good because he had a Heisman and other 5-star recruits around him. Yep, Ryan Pace, Mac Jones.
Dang. It is so hard to try and figure out what Ryan Pace is going to do. It's borderline impossible. And if Chicago really does believe that they're a quarterback away, then go for it. Take Mac Jones and continue to burn that franchise to the ground. I love it. And you mentioned that you looked at Jalen Mayfield, and that's who I'm going to go with. Chicago has an array of needs. Their offensive line is one of them. And that's why I think Mayfield is the pick. He's a solid kid. I actually played basketball against him in high school. He is a freak athletically, and he definitely posted me up a couple times and took me to school. But it's been fun to watch him become the dominant tackle that he is. He's still got all of his athleticism, and I think that Chicago is going to benefit from a guy like him. David Montgomery is going to benefit from a guy like him. He broke out near the end of last year, and I think that that's going to help him even more. No matter who's under center, if they decide to run it back with Nick Foles or re-sign Mitch Trubisky for some reason, then yeah, I think Mayfield makes a lot of sense, which wraps it up for us.
That's what I debated. Mayfield was definitely the one I went. All right, before we finish here, just want to take a look at your big board. Who is your highest ranked prospect still available? I still have JOK available. That is my highest prospect.
Okay, I still have Travis Etienne as my highest ranked prospect.
Okay.
And then
what's your biggest shock
for who's still on the board? Or
Yeah, I feel like you did pretty well. I think you got all the top guys off.
No, I think I did pretty good.
not.
Zaven Collins will be a good pick for whoever I have taking him in the 20s. He's my second best prospect behind ETN.
All right. Well, that is it for From the Gun, episode 3. Thank you for listening. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Zach Annalise and then at I am Noah Saw. Until next time, we'll see you later.
Peace.
Almost ended